Okay, this is my review of the movie Spider-Man No Way Home. Now, this may contain spoilers. Now, not necessarily spoilers in terms of what happens to the storyline, but in terms of people who appear in it. So, be warned, and I shall also put that in the description about it may contain spoilers. So, this film obviously came out in 2021. They did re-release it again, the movie again, recently with a extended cut. I don't know, I think it's maybe like 12 minutes longer in the cinema. I don't know if that's going to be available to buy. But anyway, I did not see this in the cinema because at the time, cinema tickets are expensive, but they put it on Sky Cinema. And I've had it for quite a while, but never got around to watching it, so eventually did over the festive period. Now, this film pretty much takes place after the previous film, with Mysterio, played by Jake Gyllenhaal, dying and then leaving a message revealing to the world about Peter Parker is Spider-Man. So the movie basically, the first half of it obviously is basically in how this revelation affects Peter Parker and his friends, and some of it is for the worst and some of it is for the best. So then Peter Parker wants to try and find a way of resolving this problem, and then that's when he goes to Doctor Strange for help in dealing with his predicament, and he does get some help, but then obviously it doesn't all go all according to plan, and then there's big problems. So, and then in the end, obviously you've got the multiverse, which has been commonly been spoken about in the Marvel MCU, well, in the Marvel universe. So that follows on that, and then obviously we follow on with the multiverse in the second Doctor Strange movie. So this is obviously before it. So it kind of makes sense if you watch this kind of after it. And then even the second Venom film gets a bit of a kind of a mention in it. So that's basically it in terms of the story. And then because of these shenanigans, obviously he has to now take on villains, but not just any old villains. It's villains from the previous two Spider-Man franchises with the Tobey Maguire and the other and the Amazing Spider-Man franchise, even though that only had 2 movies. So that was quite interesting. My thoughts on the actual movie were that I thought the first half of it was a bit boring, if I'm being honest, and then it was a little bit too cringy, and it is a long film because it's 150 minutes. So that was my problem with the movie. I just thought it was a little bit too cringy for the first hour, but then once the villains do appear in it, that's when it kind of starts to sit there and start to build up, especially that you recognise the villains from the previous other Spider-Man movies. So it was nice to see them again in a way, because usually obviously most villains are a one and done villain, unless you're Lex Luthor, of course. So it was nice seeing them again. And then obviously the big thing, and then what really kicked the movie into overdrive for me, was seeing obviously the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man and the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, and then obviously you've got the Tom Holland Spider-Man all on screen at the same time. I think the icing on the cake would have been somehow if Miles Morales had appeared in it, but obviously he has in the animated movie. But that was the only thing I would say that was kind of missing. That definitely would have been the icing on the cake for me. But seeing if somebody said to me, you'd see 3 different versions of the Spider-Man that have been in the movies all appearing on screen at once, I wouldn't have kind of believed you. But it was nice seeing that, and that to me is where the movie kind of really kind of shone, seeing them all meant to be the same person, but obviously the different variables in their life, and obviously they look different. So it was kind of cool seeing them all again. The film is about redemption, which I won't spoil why, but you'll kind of know why when you watch the second half of the movie. There are also a couple of sad moments in the actual movie itself towards the end of it. So that was kind of heart breaking for some of the characters, and especially for Peter, doubly, I would say. There are quite a few plot holes in the movie, which a friend of mine went into more detail about, and like how some characters know other characters when they shouldn't have because they're dead. So that's kind of a bit weird. Well, I think that's one of them. But overall, I mean, I would say I still enjoyed the film. I do think, looking at the film objectively, I do think it was a little bit hyped, and I think, for me, in my personal opinion, I think this is due to the fact that you're playing on the nostalgia strings in the sense of the villains and obviously the Spider-Man, and I think that's what kind of what kind of hyped it. But when you take away, for me, those two elements, I would say it's good, but I wouldn't say it's kind of fantastic. I mean, I do think it's a little bit hyped, but not enough to kind of ruin the movie overall. But I did enjoy it. But as I said, the first hour was a kind of a bit of a slog for me. But after that, it kind of it does pick up. So, you know, that was kind of great to see what happened. So it's going to be interesting as to what they're going to do with the fourth movie, with the ramifications of what's happened with the actual characters. So yeah, I don't know when the next one's going to be. I do know that we're trying to sign up Tom Holland to a new deal, and obviously, and they still have Sony do their own thing, keeping the franchise, but then obviously still collaborating with Disney. So that's going to be interesting. Or whether or not we're going to see him in any of the Marvel franchise movies. So that's going to be interesting. So yeah, that's basically my review of the Spider-Man Homecoming. If I had to give it out of 10, and if I had to, I'd probably give it a 7.5. Still enjoyable movie. As I said before, saw it on a streaming service. I will eventually, when it gets down to a cheap price, I will buy it physically. But I'm just gonna wait until the price of it drops, and then I probably will pick it up. But yeah, that's my review of Spider-Man No Way Home. I mean, if eventually the extended edition comes out, if I can't see it being any different with 12 minutes, then maybe I might watch that again and then see if they actually added 12 minutes, add anything or stretch anything out to the movie. But obviously, that was only in the cinema, so I don't know if it's going to be released commercially. So they probably will, because also to make more extra cash, which is what all these studios want to do with their franchises. So yeah, that's my review stroke spoiler review. Anyway, I hope people found this video informative. Please feel free to share with your friends and family, because that also helps. Also, if you can give the video a like, it's only takes me a couple of seconds, because obviously the YouTube algorithms don't work in the favour of us smaller YouTubers, because it's always showing up the big YouTuber videos in the recommended things, so that would help. If you already haven't, please feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll speak to you all again soon. So take care, have a happy new year, and I'll speak to you all again soon. Bye for now.